Captain Maya Torres wiped the grease from her hands and stared at the diagnostic screen in disbelief. The numbers didn't make sense. Her ship, the Longshot, was pulling 0.3% more power than it should be. That wasn't much, barely noticeable to most pilots, but Maya wasn't most pilots. She had spent 12 years in the Earth Navy as an engineer before buying her own cargo hauler. She knew every wire, every circuit, every power signature on her ship. The Longshot was old, patched together from 3 different hulls. But it was her ship, and right now, something was wrong. Maya stood in the cargo bay of Ganymede Station, where she had just delivered a shipment of medical supplies. The station bustled with activity around her. Aliens of a dozen species moved through the docks, tall, bird-like Cassith with their colorful feathers, stocky Velan with their 4 arms, graceful Centauri with their pale blue skin. Humanity had joined the galactic community only 40 years ago, and stations like this still felt strange to Maya. Wonderful, but strange. She pulled up her ship's external maintenance logs. The power drain was coming from outside the hull, somewhere near the aft section. Maya grabbed her toolkit and pressure suit. If someone had damaged her ship during docking, she wanted to know about it now. 20 minutes later, Maya floated in the zero gravity beneath her ship, magnetic boots keeping her attached to the hull. Her helmet light swept across the dark metal surface. Everything looked normal. Landing struts, fuel ports, heat exchangers, all standard. Then she saw it. A small device, no bigger than her fist, clamped to the ship's underside near the main power conduit. It was silver and black, with a faint blue light pulsing at its center. Maya's breath caught in her throat. She knew what this was. She had seen devices like this during her Navy training. It was a tracker, a very expensive, very illegal tracker. Maya's mind raced. Who would put a tracker on her ship? And why? She ran a small, independent cargo business. She hauled medical supplies, food shipments, equipment for research stations. Nothing valuable enough to steal, nothing illegal. She kept her nose clean and her manifest honest. She pulled out her handheld scanner and pointed it at the device. The readings made her stomach drop. This wasn't some cheap tracking bug bought on the black market. This was military-grade technology. Quantum entangled signal beacon, self-powered for up to 6 months, impossible to jam or block. The manufacturer code on the scanner display showed Cassith origin. Maya looked around the empty docking bay beneath her ship. The Cassith were one of the major trading powers in this sector. They controlled most of the shipping routes, owned half the stations, and had a reputation for aggressive business practices. But this was different. This was surveillance. This was illegal. She could rip the tracker off right now and throw it into the station's recycling chute. But that would tell whoever planted it that she had found it. They would know she was aware of being watched. Maya made a decision that would change everything. Instead of destroying the tracker, she was going to do something much more interesting. She carefully detached the device from her hull and brought it back inside her ship. In her small workshop, she placed it on the workbench and studied it carefully. The tracker was sophisticated, but Maya understood quantum-entangled communication systems. She had worked on similar technology in the Navy. The device sent out a signal that reported the ship's position. Somewhere, someone had a receiver that showed exactly where the Longshot traveled. They knew every station she visited, every route she took, every delivery she made. Maya thought back over her recent jobs. 3 weeks ago, she had transported sealed equipment containers from Titan to a secure facility in the asteroid belt. The cargo manifest had listed them as geological survey equipment for a research team. The client had been a human scientist named Dr. Chen Okonkwo. The pay had been good, very good, and the doctor had been professional and polite. But Maya remembered something odd. When she had loaded the containers, the weight distribution had felt wrong for geological equipment. The containers were too light, too carefully balanced. She hadn't asked questions, that wasn't her job, but she had wondered. Now, looking at the military-grade tracker attached to her ship, she wondered if she had transported something much more valuable than rock sampling tools. Maya pulled up her computer and began searching galactic news feeds. She entered Titan, Research, 0-point energy. Several articles appeared on her screen. Her eyes widened as she read. Dr. Okonkwo's team had made a breakthrough. They had discovered a new method for manipulating 0-point energy fields. The research was still classified, but rumors suggested it could revolutionize faster-than-light travel. Current FTL technology was expensive and slow. This new method could change everything, and the Casith Consortium controlled most of the current FTL infrastructure. If this new technology became public, their monopoly would collapse. Maya sat back in her chair and smiled. Someone had put a tracker on her ship to find out where she had delivered that equipment. They wanted to locate the research before it could be published or patented, and they were willing to break interstellar law to do it. But they had made one very important mistake. They had underestimated a human engineer with too much curiosity and a very particular set of skills. Maya spent the next 6 hours working on the tracker. She didn't disable it. Instead, she modified it. She rerouted the quantum-entangled signal through a delay buffer she built from spare parts. The tracker would still send out its location signal, but Maya could control what location it reported. When she finished, she sat back and admired her work. The tracker now thought it was attached to whatever Maya told it to be attached to. She walked to her cargo bay, where a supply drone sat waiting for its scheduled delivery run to Mars. The drone was automated, programmed to deliver routine supplies to Olympus Research Station in Mars orbit. Medical supplies, spare parts, food rations, nothing exciting. The drone would launch tomorrow, fly to Mars, dock at the station, and sit in a warehouse until someone unloaded it. Maya attached the modified tracker to the drone's hull. She returned to her cockpit and initiated her pre-flight sequence. The Longshot's engines hummed to life. Maya requested departure clearance from Ganymede Station Control and received it 30 seconds later. As her ship pulled away from the station and began accelerating toward her next destination, Europa Station, where she had a legitimate cargo pickup scheduled, Maya watched her scanner. The tracker faithfully reported her position. But it wasn't reporting the Longshot's position. It was reporting that Maya's ship was traveling toward Mars. Attached to the supply drone, Maya grinned. Somewhere, whoever was watching that tracker signal was seeing her ship heading to Mars. They would follow that signal, try to intercept her, try to force her to tell them where the research equipment had gone, but she wouldn't be there. The Longshot crossed into open space between Jupiter's moons. Maya set her course for Europa and engaged the autopilot. She made herself a cup of coffee, real coffee, imported from Earth at ridiculous expense, and sat in her captain's chair. 3 days passed. Maya completed her cargo pickup at Europa Station without incident. She loaded 70 tons of ice mining equipment destined for Callisto and prepared for departure. As she ran through her pre-flight checklist, her communication console beeped. Incoming transmission. Encrypted. High priority. Maya's fingers hesitated over the controls. The transmission origin codes were Casith. Someone was calling her. Someone who used military-grade encryption. They knew. Somehow, they knew what she had done. They knew she had found the tracker. They knew she had sent it to Mars as a decoy. And now they wanted to talk. Maya's hand hovered over the accept button. Her heart pounded in her chest. She could ignore the call. She could run. She could report everything to station security and let them handle it. But that wasn't the human way. Humans didn't run from problems. They faced them head-on. They got creative. They found solutions that no one else would think of. Maya took a deep breath and pressed the button. The screen flickered to life, and a Casith face appeared before her. This was about to get very interesting. The holographic display shimmered, and a Casith appeared in Maya's cockpit. This wasn't an ordinary trader or corporate security officer. The alien's feathers were elaborate and colorful, deep purple mixed with gold. Casith wore their rank on their bodies. This was someone important. "Captain Torres," the Casith said. The translator converted the bird-like chirps into smooth English. "My name is Merchant Fleer Cassix. I believe we have much to discuss." Maya kept her face neutral. She had learned poker from her father, and the first rule was simple: Never show your cards. I'm just a cargo hauler. I don't usually get calls from merchant flyers. To what do I owe the honor? Cassix's throat feathers rippled. Maya's translator identified the gesture as amusement. That surprised her. She had expected anger or threats. Your ship has been taking a very interesting route to Mars, Cassix said. Through the Europa sector. Past Callisto. Quite the scenic journey for a direct flight to the Red Planet. Maya said nothing. She sipped her coffee and waited. Cassix continued. 3 weeks ago, you transported cargo from Titan. Sealed containers. You delivered them to a facility in the asteroid belt. We need to know which facility. The tracker was our insurance policy. You've made that insurance rather complicated. I transport legal cargo with proper manifests, Maya replied. If you had concerns about my shipment, you could have filed them through official channels. Instead, you attached military-grade surveillance equipment to my ship. That's 7 different violations of interstellar commerce law. Maybe more. Cassix's feathers flattened slightly. Let's not pretend this is about legality, Captain. You know what you transported. You know why it matters. And you know that we're willing to pay handsomely for information. Maya leaned forward. What exactly do you think I transported? Don't play games, Cassix said. The translator caught an edge of irritation in the alien's voice. Dr. Okonkwo's research, zero-point energy field manipulation. The breakthrough that could revolutionize FTL travel. You moved the prototype and data cores from Titan to a secure location. We want to know where. So that confirmed it. Maya's guess had been correct. Those geological survey tools had been revolutionary technology worth billions, maybe trillions of credits. And why would you want to know that? Maya asked. Planning to steal it? Corporate espionage? Or maybe you want to buy the patent before it goes public? Cassix's head tilted in a very bird-like gesture. The Cassith Consortium has invested centuries in developing current FTL infrastructure. We've built the gates, the relay stations, the navigation networks. This research threatens all of that. If zero-point manipulation becomes standard, our entire economy collapses. Maya understood now. This wasn't about stealing the research to use it. This was about suppressing it. The Cassith wanted to bury the breakthrough before it could destroy their monopoly. So you want to kill the technology, Maya said flatly. Set back FTL research by decades. Keep everyone dependent on your expensive, slow infrastructure. We want to manage the transition responsibly, Cassix corrected. Change is necessary. But chaos is not. If this technology releases too quickly, it will destabilize the entire galactic economy. Wars have started over less. Maya couldn't argue with that logic entirely. Rapid technological change did cause problems. But she also knew what managed transition meant when corporations said it. It meant delay, control, and profit protection. What's your offer? Maya asked. Cassix's feathers brightened. 500,000 credits. Transferred immediately to any account you specify. All you have to do is tell us where the equipment went. We verify the location, and the money is yours. You continue your business, we continue ours. Everyone benefits. 500,000 credits. That was more money than Maya would make in 5 years of cargo hauling. She could pay off her ship, upgrade her engines, retire early if she wanted. And if I refuse? Maya asked. The brightness faded from Cassix's feathers. Then things become difficult. Legal challenges to your shipping licenses. Investigations into your cargo manifests. You'll find that stations in Cassith-controlled space become unwelcoming. Equipment malfunctions. Docking delays. The kind of accidents that plague stubborn, independent operators. There it was. The threat beneath the offer. Cooperate or be destroyed. I need time to think, Maya said. You have 24 hours, Cassix replied. After that, the offer expires and the difficulties begin. I hope you make the wise choice, Captain Torres. You're a smart woman. Too smart to throw away your career over someone else's research. The transmission ended. The hologram flickered out, leaving Maya alone in her cockpit. She sat in silence for several minutes, thinking. Then she pulled up her secure communication system and entered an encrypted address. Dr. Okonkwo had given her emergency contact information when she delivered the cargo, just in case there were problems. It took 20 minutes for the connection to establish. When Dr. Okonkwo's face appeared on the screen, Maya noticed the scientist looked tired. The woman was in her 50s, with gray-streaked hair and sharp eyes behind wireframe glasses. Captain Torres, Dr. Okonkwo said. I was wondering when you'd call. The Cassith found you. Didn't they? How did you know? Because they've been trying everything to locate our research facility. Communications, intercepts, bribes, hacking attempts. We knew they'd eventually track down anyone involved in the transport chain. I'm sorry you got pulled into this, Maya explained the tracker. The call from Cassix, the threats, and the offer. Dr. Okonkwo listened carefully. When Maya finished, the scientist sighed. The research goes public in 2 weeks. We're publishing everything, all our data, all our methods, completely open source, free for any species to use and develop. Free? Maya blinked. You're giving away technology worth trillions? That's how human science works, Dr. Okonkwo said with a small smile. We share. We collaborate. We build on each other's discoveries. The Cassith and other corporate powers, they don't understand that. They hoard knowledge like treasure. They think science is about profit. But you could patent it, Maya said. You could be the richest person in the solar system. I could. Dr. Okonkwo agreed. But then only rich people and rich corporations could use it. FTL travel would remain expensive and exclusive. This way, everyone benefits. Small operators like you, independent colonies, developing species. The technology spreads faster, improves faster, helps more people. Maya felt something shift in her chest. This was the difference between human thinking and corporate thinking. Humans saw breakthrough technology and wanted to share it. They saw progress and wanted everyone to benefit. The Cassith aren't trying to steal your research, Maya said slowly. They're trying to suppress it. They want to keep it from going public. Quote, exactly, Dr. Okonkwo confirmed. And they only have 2 weeks to do it. Which is why they're getting desperate. Which is why they're threatening you. Maya's mind began working through possibilities. She had sent the tracker to Mars. The Cassith thought she was heading there. They would be watching Mars, expecting her to lead them to the research facility. But what if she actually went to Mars? What if she used their surveillance against them? An idea formed. It was risky. It was complicated. It was probably crazy. It was perfectly human. Dr. Okonkwo, Maya said. Where exactly is your research facility? The scientist hesitated. I can't tell you that. For your own safety. I don't need the exact location, Maya said. But tell me this. When are you presenting your research publicly? At the Interspecies Technology Symposium on Olympus Research Station. Mars orbit. In 48 hours. We're making the announcement there. With media present from 40 species. Once it's public, the Cassith can't suppress it. Maya smiled. Mars. The symposium was on Mars. The same Mars where she had sent the tracker. Doctor, Maya said. I have a plan. But I'm going to need you to trust me. And I'm going to need you to send me every piece of evidence you have about Cassith interference in your research. Dr. Okonkwo studied her through the screen. What are you planning? I'm planning to teach the Cassith Consortium why you don't threaten human cargo haulers, Maya said. And I'm planning to make sure your research goes public. No matter what they try. That sounds dangerous. Probably, Maya admitted. But I didn't spend 12 years in the Navy just to let corporate bullies push me around. Are you in? Dr. Okonkwo smiled. Send me your secure data address. I'll transfer everything we have. After the call ended, Maya pulled up her contact list. She scrolled through names, other independent cargo haulers she had met over the years. Humans, Centauri, Velan, and others. Small operators who all struggled against corporate monopolies. She began composing a message. A very specific message. Then Maya opened a new transmission window and entered Cassix's contact codes. When the Cassith appeared on screen, feathers raised in surprise, Maya spoke before the alien could. "I've made my decision," she said. "I'll show you where the equipment is. I'll even take you there personally. Meet me at these coordinates in 48 hours. Your ship and mine. Let's talk business, face to face." She transmitted a set of coordinates. Mars orbit. Near Olympus Research Station. Cassix's feathers flattened in suspicion. "Why the sudden cooperation?" "Because 500,000 credits is a lot of money," Maya lied smoothly. "And because I'm a businesswoman, not a hero." "You want the location? Fine. But we do this in person. I want to see the credits transfer before I say anything." Cassix studied her for a long moment. 48 hours. "Don't be late, Captain Torres." The transmission ended. Maya leaned back in her chair and allowed herself a small smile. The Cassith thought they were setting a trap. They had no idea that they were walking into one. 48 hours later, Maya's ship arrived at the coordinates near Mars. The red planet hung in the distance, ancient and silent. Olympus Research Station orbited nearby, its lights glittering like a small city in space. But Maya wasn't looking at the station. She was looking at the ships around her. 12 vessels floated in a loose formation. Cargo haulers, transport ships, independent freighters, human ships, Centauri ships, Velan ships, and others. Small operators. All of them. The kind of people who scraped by on thin margins, while big corporations controlled the profitable routes. Maya had called them. Every independent captain she knew. Every operator who had been pushed around by the Cassith Consortium. She had told them the truth about the tracker, about the threats, about the research that would break the monopoly. And they had come. Her communication console beeped. A new ship was arriving. Maya's scanner identified it immediately. A Cassith corvette. Small, fast, and definitely equipped with more weapons than any merchant vessel should carry. Merchant flyer Cassix was here. The corvette moved into position, keeping a wary distance from the other ships. Maya's console lit up with an incoming transmission. "Captain Torres." Cassix's voice was sharp with anger. "What is this? You said to come alone. You said we would talk business." Maya opened a broadcast channel that connected to all the ships present. "I said your ship and mine. I never said I'd be alone." Merchant Fleer Cassix. "Meet the Independent Captains Coalition." On her screen, she could see Cassix's feathers bristling. "This is a violation of our agreement." "We didn't have an agreement," Maya said calmly. "You made threats, and I asked for a meeting. Now we're meeting. Everyone here has a stake in this conversation." "Ope." She keyed in a command on her console. Telemetry data streamed across all the ship's displays, showing the tracker's location. The device was down on Olympus Station, sitting in a warehouse bay. "You wanted to know where your tracker went?" Maya said. "There it is, attached to a supply drone that completed its delivery run 12 hours ago. That tracker is sitting in a warehouse on Olympus Research Station." She paused, letting that sink in. A warehouse that currently hosts the Interspecies Technology Symposium. 3,000 beings, from 40 different species. Galactic media. Trade representatives. And in about 2 hours, Dr. Chen Okonkwo presents humanity's zero-point energy research to the entire galaxy. Cassix's feathers flattened completely. In Cassith body language, that meant shock or fear. Maya continued. "Here's the interesting thing about that tracker. It's military-grade Cassith technology. Your government has testified repeatedly to the Galactic Commerce Authority that you don't sell military equipment to civilian corporations. So either your company has been lying about arms trafficking, or your government is directly engaged in corporate espionage against civilian vessels. She let that statement hang in the space between ships. The tracker is currently being held by Station Master Liu, Maya said. She's a former Interstellar Commerce Court judge. Very thorough. Very interested in how military equipment ended up on my ship. She's also very interested in the formal complaint I filed 6 hours ago. On her screen, she saw Kasich lean forward. You filed a formal complaint? I did, Maya confirmed. With full documentation. Photos of the tracker. Analysis of its quantum signature. Testimony from 3 independent mechanics who verified it was military grade. I even included the part where you threatened to make my life difficult if I didn't cooperate. The other ships remained silent, listening. Maya had shared everything with them before this meeting. They all knew the plan. The investigators will be here in 6 hours, Maya said. They're very curious about the Kasich Consortium's activities, especially given some interesting patterns we've discovered. She nodded to one of the other ships. A Centauri captain named Vorik opened a transmission. My ship had a navigation malfunction in Kasich-controlled space last month, Vorik said in his rumbling voice. Forced me to pay for emergency repairs at triple the normal rate. I thought it was bad luck. Another captain spoke up. My cargo was randomly inspected 5 times in 3 weeks. Every time in Kasich territory. Every time it caused delivery delays that cost me contracts. A human captain named Sarah Chen added her story. My ship's reactor almost failed near Ganymede Station. The repair crew found a sabotaged cooling line. They said it looked professional. One by one, the independent captains shared their stories. Equipment failures, mysterious delays, sudden legal problems, all happening in Kasich-controlled space, all happening to operators who competed with consortium shipping. Maya had spent the last 2 days collecting these stories, documenting the pattern. Individually, they looked like accidents or bad luck. Together, they looked like systematic harassment. Humans like to talk, Maya said to Kasich. We compare notes. We find patterns. We share information. It's one of our most annoying traits. And right now, all this information is being compiled into a very detailed report. Kasich's image on the screen was perfectly still. Maya could almost see the alien's mind working through the situation. So here's what's going to happen, Maya said. In 2 hours, Dr. Okonkwo presents her research. The zero-point energy breakthrough becomes public knowledge, free for any species to use and develop. Your FTL monopoly ends. You'll have to compete fairly for the first time in decades. She pulled up a document on her screen and transmitted it to the Corvette. This is a formal agreement. The Kasich Consortium will cease all harassment of independent operators. You'll compete on fair terms, better prices, better service, better technology. The same way every other company has to compete. In exchange, Maya continued, I'll testify that I found the tracker abandoned in my cargo bay. Origin unknown. No direct connection to your company. The formal complaint gets downgraded to a minor incident. The investigators ask fewer questions. And, if we refuse? Kasich asked quietly. Maya's voice hardened. Then this becomes a very public legal battle. Every dirty trick in that report goes to the media. It gets attached to the story of humanity's technological breakthrough. The headlines write themselves. Kasich Consortium. Attempts to suppress revolutionary technology through illegal surveillance and sabotage. She leaned closer to her camera. Your company's reputation collapses right as your main revenue stream becomes obsolete. You'll spend years in court, paying fines, losing contracts, or you can sign the agreement and adapt to the new market like everyone else. The silence stretched across the space between ships. Maya waited. She had played her cards. Now, it was Kasich's turn. Finally, the Kasich spoke. You turned our own surveillance against us. You weaponized transparency. You organized opposition while I thought you were running scared. A pause. Your species is unexpected. Captain Torres. We're persistent, Maya replied. And we really don't like being tracked without permission. Kasich's feathers rippled in what the translator identified as grudging respect. I need to consult with my superiors. You have 1 hour, Maya said. After that, the offer expires, and Dr. Okonkwo's presentation begins. Choose wisely. The transmission ended. Maya sat back in her chair and exhaled slowly. Her hands were shaking slightly from adrenaline. She had just threatened one of the most powerful corporations in the sector. 30 minutes later, Cassix called back. We accept your terms, the merchant fleer said. The consortium will sign the agreement. We will cease harassment of independent operators. We will compete fairly. Maya felt relief wash over her, but she kept her face neutral. Smart decision. Don't mistake this for weakness, Cassix warned. We're adapting because we must. But the Cassith Consortium has survived for centuries by knowing when to fight and when to negotiate. Today, we negotiate. That's all we ever wanted, Maya said. The formal agreement was transmitted, signed, and verified by Station Master Liu within 20 minutes. The independent captains witnessed it, adding their signatures as evidence. As the Cassith corvette prepared to depart, Cassix opened one final private channel to Maya. You're a clever human, Captain Torres. But cleverness has limits. Be careful not to make more powerful enemies than you can handle. I'll keep that in mind, Maya said. But here's something to remember. Humans don't make enemies alone. We make friends. We build coalitions. We share information. That's our real strength. Cassix's feathers rippled one final time. Then the corvette turned and accelerated away into the black. The other captains began calling Maya, congratulating her, thanking her for organizing the coalition. She accepted their praise modestly. But inside, she felt proud. They had stood together. They had won. 2 hours later, Maya sat in the viewing gallery of Olympus Research Station and watched Dr. Okonkwo present the zero-point energy research. The auditorium was packed with beings from across the galaxy. Cameras recorded everything for broadcast to billions of viewers. When the presentation ended, the applause was thunderous. Questions flew from journalists and scientists. Dr. Okonkwo smiled and answered them all, explaining that the full research data would be published freely within 24 hours. Maya slipped out of the auditorium and returned to her ship. She had a cargo delivery scheduled on Callisto in 2 days. Normal work, normal life. As she settled into her captain's chair, her console beeped with a new message. It was encrypted with codes she didn't recognize. When she decrypted it, the message was brief. The tracker gambit was clever. The coalition building was impressive. But the true genius was recognizing that information wants to be free, and sunlight is the best disinfectant. Humanity understands something the old powers forgot. Transparency is a weapon. Welcome to the game. A friend in high places. Maya stared at the message for a long moment, then deleted it. Someone was watching. Someone with resources and knowledge. Someone who approved of what she had done. She didn't know if that was good or bad. But she knew one thing for certain. The galaxy was about to change. Zero-point energy would revolutionize travel. The monopolies would crumble. Small operators would have new opportunities. And humans would be right in the middle of it all, doing what they did best, sharing knowledge, building coalitions, and turning problems into solutions. Maya engaged her engines and plotted a course for Callisto. The longshot hummed to life beneath her, carrying her toward the next delivery, the next adventure, the next challenge. She smiled and whispered to herself, "Let's see what happens next."